So, Gothix, you went a bit. I mean, you're always. I feel like you're always at the top of everyone's mind. You're always getting attention. But most recently, you came out and spoke because a lot of folks were talking about DEI and well, DEI has been a topic of conversation for what feels like forever. But Sweet Baby Inc. was a topic of conversation among the gaming community because they were bringing in these consultants specifically to push diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives um, in gaming. And alongside with that was Black Girl Gaming. They're
Mm.
kind of, I don't know, if you want to set up your kind of experience with them, because you went a little bit viral speaking out about Black Girl Gamers
Yeah.
and
Oh,
caught
yeah.
Black.
So, I tell people that's like my origin story. So if you just look at my YouTube channel, you're like, wow, she has a lot of base takes. It was because of the backlash, or I should say blacklash, that I got from being a member
Black.
of their community. Uh, yeah, like when I was just streaming on Twitch, I used to just do video game content, and I joined this community. One of it was actually two communities. That one and another black community that I joined, and I joined them initially because I aligned with leftist ideas. I believe the lie that it would be harder for me to grow as a streamer because of the color of my skin, and these safe spaces said, hey, if you join these communities, we're going to help you. We're going to uplift each other. We're going to support each other. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so that's what happened for a little bit until I stepped out of line and I said the wrong things. And so their community turned on me, and no one from BGG offered to help. Um, and I suspect, I have nothing to confirm this, but I suspect it's because the people who are in charge of the community actually agree with my harassers. That's the only
Mm.
logical explanation that I have for it. So, yeah, and this was a couple of years ago, and so then when I saw them popping up on Twitter, because everyone's talking about DEI and how they had a hand in consulting with the Forspoken game, which that game, by the way, if nobody's played it, the whole studio had to shut down. That's how successful it was. so so when I see them popping up and trending, I'm like, now is my time to state my piece again about this, because I mean, I have been sounding the alarm about DEI in these safe spaces for a long time, and I think for a lot of people, they don't see the connection until it starts to impact what they do specifically. So, like for gamers, for example, once you can't escape political messaging in video games, that's when you start to pay attention, and
Mm.
there's a reason for it. So I use the momentum of this, and it's really not about BGG; it's about DEI. But yeah, absolutely, I use that momentum of my tweet going viral to bring awareness to this, that this ideology is everywhere and it's not going anywhere until people know how to argue against it.
So I guess this group started in 2015. They grew from a small Facebook group into a thriving collective of 10,000 plus Black women around the globe, all with a shared passion for gaming and shared ambition to make an impact. Evolving from a like minded group of friends to a community powered business, BGG has become an influential agent of change throughout the gaming industry, partnering with brands to change gaming from the inside out. And I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with gaming? Don't the people who like gaming buy? What's to stop anyone from buying a video game, getting good at it, being called horrible things while they're in the waiting room, you know what I mean? And then repeat. The idea that there's gatekeeping to this is strange to me, but I'm not a video game person, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time figuring out what exactly is keeping any group of people from gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on to say across content, events, education, consulting, and talent, BGG partners with endemic and non endemic brands throughout the gaming space, Google, Facebook, Netflix, etc., and gaming communities to grow the influence, representation, equity, and experience of Black women in gaming. So, from their point of view, what is keeping Black women out of gaming?
Microaggressions, misogynoir, and and racism, I guess. It's really this is just the result of people being soft. And I hate to say it because, again, like I used to be fragile to mean words, but I mean, if you
Oh,
grew,
me
it,
too. I mean, we all didn't we all go to a liberal arts college?
yes.
Come
Well, I
on.
didn't go to college, but I went to a, technical high school but I played in video game lobbies, Call of Duty lobbies, You would think that I would have thick skin, but for some reason it didn't translate over when I became a streamer. But in any case, it's like this is the result of people who are are monetizing something that isn't tangible. They're monetizing
Hmm.
uh victimhood. And the solution to all of this is grow an emotional resilience and mute the other person on the mic.
Hmm.
But they want to instead spread an ideology, which I think just cultivates more weakness within the gaming space. Because, as you said, nothing is preventing you from going out and getting a game or going out and making a game, but instead you want to tell other people what they should be doing with their video games. You got to put more black faces and diversity in these games to make us feel good. It's like you're making a problem that wasn't a problem.
Especially when so many video games, like, I don't know, the characters aren't even human or even have regular people skin tone. I mean, like, I've seen my stepson play Minecraft. Like, everyone, you have a thing that hacks away at, I don't understand it. The dirt is square.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, it's supposed to be an escape, So it's like, even I mean, I've had this same criticism about Hollywood, where it's like, why are you so adamant about this whole idea of representation? Like, why do you need to see someone who looks like you in a movie? But even this is more ridiculous because it's a video game. Like, this is like the most obvious form of make believe that you can think of. And we know we've all enjoyed video games without focusing on skin color. So why can't we continue to enjoy video games without focusing on skin color?
Yeah, I just don't know what their objective really is. It's just a lot of buzzwords. It's like we have aimed to keep our members safe and connected whilst also offering educational opportunities to demystify career paths in gaming. I mean, wouldn't like what an Epic Games or whoever makes these video games, like, if wouldn't they post, oh, we're looking for an engineer, we're looking for a coder on the Epic Games website. Like, why do you have to demystify a career path? If you're qualified, apply to it and see what happens. I just don't. There just seems to be so much hand holding,
Yeah.
and is it actually doing anything?
Yeah, I don't think it's actually doing anything because now, like look at the backlash they're getting. I have to keep saying it because I just think it's so ironic.
Because
But
it's fun.
look at the response that they're getting. The average gamer doesn't want this. The only people that want this are narcissistic,
Hmm.
and they want to make everything about them instead of just enjoying the game.
Right. Who- I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a hard time feeling bad because in my pursuit of stand-up comedy, it's like you notice, okay, women generally do complain. All right, it's harder for us. I get asked in interviews all the time, well, isn't it harder being a female comic? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a male comic. I don't know what it's like to be a black comic. I don't know what it's like to be anything other than the thing I am. And if it was so hard and impossible, I guess I would have dropped out by now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to remember, just like any other community or group or industry, like, nobody's forcing you to stay in it and participate. If it's hard, d- leave. Like,
Right.
if comedy's hard, leave. If you can't hack it at gaming, then find something else. I've never just considered that. Well, that's the thing, and there are a lot of other things going on when you grow, when you kind of spend years looking through the lens of the deck is stacked against me because of something I can't change. I just was never brought up with that, so I've it's always been like, oh, I'm not getting into this show or this festival. It's because I'm not funny enough, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to work harder, or I have to find my own way produce my own I'm not getting management. Yeah, it's probably because my political beliefs. So, do I
Yeah.
need management? What can I do without it?
Yeah.
Kinda just find your own way. And yeah, I've found my own friendships and sort of built my own sort of community, but for me to go around and be like, "Oh, well, I'm not where I should be because I'm a woman or because, uh, I'm a right winger." Maybe, who knows? Maybe sometimes I do complain about those things a little bit, but
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, what you said, I think it would be more plausible for me to say, I'm probably gonna get less job opportunities because I align with the right wing than I do with the left, you know, and it's never because of my skin color. And even if it was, it's like, okay, well, if I have something of value to offer the world, then I'm gonna be fine. You know, do you have something that's valuable? Are you good at what you do? Maybe what you're trying to pursue is you're not actually cut out for it, and that's okay. You can find something else. But more often than not, it's yeah, it's my political beliefs, or more specifically, my belief in God that seems to be in conflict with the world. If I wanted to have an easier life, I would just parrot everything that the left says, and be done with it, you know. But so I don't know. I think it's just when people hear that, it causes them to look at themselves, and most people don't like doing that.
yeah. So when did you start to hear of Black Girl Gamers? Like, when were you first introduced to the group, and what was that process like of trying to sort of, I guess, like, join that community?
Yeah, this was back I think in like 2018, I think, because I had gotten canceled by them before 2020. My dates are messed up because of the psychological trauma, and I don't like saying the word trauma because I feel like it gets thrown around so much. But my goodness, I had some trauma. And you know, I got introduced. There was someone that was in that community that invited me, which is contrary to what these fools are saying about me never getting invited by someone. I didn't just randomly stumble across the community and join it. Um, but yeah, and they got in my head because on Twitch, I think I started at the end of 2018, started streaming, and or maybe it was 2017, I forget. But I was streaming for a couple of months, and I was enjoying the process. Granted, no one was really watching me. Like for 4 months, I had like 8 viewers, if that, in my channel. But eventually, I came across these communities, and the people in these communities are telling me, we can help you. The reason that you're not growing quick is because you're black. And if you look at Twitch, the top people on Twitch are all white men. So my
Hmm.
brain, not knowing how to think critically at that moment, is like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Why is Ninja the white man up at the top? You know, where's the black faces? Where are the women? It must be because of skin color. So
Are
yes,
there
let me
even
join.
that many black people on Twitch generally? Like,
I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I don't know, man. It's but you know the here's something that I realized, because after, like, it took a lot of the backlash from that community for me to start thinking about like my beliefs and stuff. But when I was in that community, I was starting to grow my channel, and something that I noticed was, okay, there is a difference by if you were to look at in general most white streamers versus most black streamers. There's a big difference here. And one of the the clues that I got was when people from this community were insinuating that the only reason I'm growing in numbers is because I'm catering to a primarily white audience. And that stuck with me. I'm like, what are they trying to convey here? So if you look
wow,
at
so when you're
right,
not growing, it's because of your skin color, and when you
right,
do grow, well, it's
because
because you're pandering.
right. So when you look at like white streamers versus black streamers, more often than not, most of the black streamers on Twitch, they are it's funny, they're making their content specifically for the black community. Like, I don't make my content for white or black, I just make my content and whoever likes it will come watch it. But you can tell that most streamers who have my skin complexion are trying to cultivate a community that appeals to the black community. So that's, you're not diversifying your content. You're not reaching out to the general public. Is like you're sort of putting yourself in this niche and then complaining that no one wants to watch you.
Hmm.
And
You're also limiting yourself.
yeah. You know?
creatively.
Exactly. So, I don't know.
Okay, so 2017, 2018, someone reached out to you. There was is there something so there's you mentioned something called the cookout.
Mm.
Is that a separate event done by Black Girl Gamers?
No, so these were both two. So it's worth noting that Black Girl Gamers is a consulting firm that is trying to work with companies, but originally this thing started off as like a little Twitch community, like a Discord, a Facebook. It wasn't what it is growing into now, and the cookout was the same thing, but the cookout had a lot of problems, accusations of sexual harassment after I got kicked out, or I left rather. So that's no longer there. But they were both communities, and they were both separate. But they would also like collaborate on stuff. Like they get together to bring their powers, our powers combined, to make these larger safe spaces for Black folks. But they were two separate things. Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull up because there was an article written about you. I'm sure you've seen it. An article. This is from Fandom Pulse. Former Black Girl Gamers member Gothix exposes their hatred for white people masquerading as DEI. Oh, this is cute. Why you used to have very short hair?
Yeah,
All
I
these
chopped
little
it all off.
horns.
Yeah, the little horns.
Oh, okay. As the pressure has increased on many of these DEI consulting companies on the gaming industry, Black Girl Gamers has now replaced Sweet Baby Inc. as public enemy number one. After Black Girl Gamers announced on Twitter they were seeking legal counsel against that Park Place for speaking out about their allegedly discriminatory DEI hiring practices, YouTuber and culture war commentator Gothix stepped forward to share her own past experiences as a member of Black Girl Gamers. As a former Black Girl Gamers member, I can confidently say these people are full of crap, Gothix began. They do not care about diversity. They promptly kicked me out for being anti-Black, aka not making an idol out of my skin color and refusing to hate white people. This is a very ironic statement because, as we all know, DEI is supposed to stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion. What was the first inkling you got? Um, that I guess they were kind of upset with you for
Hmm.
the way you are. You're not making it about your skin color. You're and how did it come out? Like, I mean, how does it even come out? Like they get the sense that you don't hate white people. That's such a
Yeah.
strange
Well,
thing.
I think the notorious Ariel tweet that I posted was the thing that made people really upset with me. But I get this impression that there was animosity brewing under the surface for a while for some things that I've said on Twitter. So for context, for those that don't know, the Ariel tweet was literally Disney announced that they were going to make a live action remake of The Little Mermaid, and the narrative that I was seeing from a lot of people in these communities were calling everyone racist if they had a problem with Ariel being black. And I had a problem with Ariel being black, and I'm not racist. So what do you. So I went online and I said that, and the outrage was just, it's like, whoa, you would have thought I murdered somebody. But prior to that, the only other thing I can think of, but again, I can sense that this is probably where they started to look at me kind of weird, was I remember I was on Twitter, and again, same thing. I saw some of these girls from this community hounding this Asian guy because he was uh, he was acting ghetto in a video, and these girls were asking, why do people love making caricatures out of black women? And me, I interpreted that as, okay, so you are saying that ghetto behavior is exclusive to black women. And I said that, and
Which is actually racist.
they translated that into, you must hate black women.
Oof.
And I'm like, no, that's not what I said.
And you're
Um,
like, do you realize the horrible expectations you're putting forth?
right, right. And so they didn't like that. And so a few months later, that's when the aerial thing came about, and they just used that as fuel, I guess. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think they didn't like me for a while.
They didn't like you because your takes on the new Ariel, and then yeah, and then you say this, which gets millions of views. Um,
The audacity.
wow. Grums. And this, you were responding to Grum's tweet. If you like the work I do reporting on Black girl gamers, legal threats against gamers, and want to aid my future legal fund, joking, please subscribe. I was harassed for months after the fact and received an onslaught of vitriol from mainly of their Black members. Gothix tweeted, "You know how Black girl gamers responded? They blocked me and literally scrubbed my existence off of their platforms." Gothix went on, "By the way, most of the vitriol I received from many of their members made it into the final cut of the Gothix documentary." You have a documentary? Wow.
Yeah, I do.
Did you make this?
No, my friend Graham made it. Graham is in the chat, I think. And
Ooh.
well, I didn't know Graham beforehand. He literally found me on YouTube and then he messaged me. And then after weeks of ignoring him, I finally responded to him.
You played
And
hard to get.
yeah, I mean, it's some weirdo messages you said, "Hey, I want to make a movie about you." You don't know what to think.
Oh, wow. And this is gothixfilm.com. When did this come out?
December 18th, I think.
Ooh, I'm going to play
Yeah.
this trailer.
There is no redemption. There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story and he was just like, oh, wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of Black friend.
Breaks on that for a while. I don't know how much out of this time I need right now. I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself. I think it's time for me to take a break. Like, I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now. They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white, because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this.
Seeing people automatically say, okay, the reason you have a problem with this is because you're racist is an issue for me. I said, we need to stop doing this. I'm talking in a matter of 24 hours, I became...
Over the course of 4 days, I had more racism towards me from other people that looked like me than in my entire existence on this planet. What's the next step once they realize I can't, attack someone on social media and make them disappear? So what do we got to do now? Is physical assault okay? And I just see like these pools of blood, and I'm like, okay, I'm panicking now.
Whoa. This gave me chills.
Yeah, I thought I told you about this. Did I not?
You probably did. I just have a shit memory.
I'm terrible. I can if you want to see it, I can give you a screener.
Ooh.
And you could watch it when you are recovering from popping out your child.
From when all of my holes are torn open.
Oh no, what do you say it like that?
Oh my gosh. So at the very end, if it spoils it, then don't say it. When you're mentioning like pools of blood, were you actually like attacked? Or
You're
is
just gonna
that
have to watch it, man.
Oh my god.
It's ambiguous for a reason.
Wow. How interesting. This is okay, wow. Directed by Graham Wilson. Marcus Pittman of Lore TV, Jason Farley of Lore TV. Wow, how cool. That's
Yeah.
When did you first start getting called all these names and insults?
This was literally when I started vocalizing things that didn't go with the Black consensus on Twitter, and this was like 2018, 2019 maybe? No, it was 2019. That's when it really started to kick off. But I had never heard those things before. Granted, like, if I look back in my past, I can see me doing similar things to other people, but it wasn't to the same degree. But it didn't click until it happened to me, and then I'm like, oh, I was like that. Interesting.
Gosh, it's yeah, the vilification you get for not being part of the group think, because you show people that it doesn't matter, that you can succeed without crying victim the whole way. You don't need special treatment to get to where you've gotten.
Right.
And that's very threatening.
Right. Yeah.
So you tweet this out. How soon after do you start getting a blacklash, as you say?
What, the Ariel thing or the recent thing?
Actually, yeah, which one was worse? Your
Honestly,
thoughts on Ariel or
I think it
Black
was
Girl
worse
Gamers?
now. I think
Wow.
like the backlash I got was bad with the Ariel thing because I never experienced that before. But I think now it's like the backlash is worse, but it's not worse for me because I've already been prepared for it. This isn't my first rodeo. But I think it was worse now because, I mean, I think it's kind of comical that they tried to cancel me and my audience, my platform has grown tenfold. And now I am supposedly siding with all the white supremacists and the racists now. I'm friends with all of them. So their narrative doesn't hold up and they feel threatened by that. So that's why I think they all came out like, banshees. Like instantly, and it definitely seemed like there was more of an effort to shut me up this time, but it just did not even affect me, not even close to when they tried doing it before.
I think every time the more times we can all get canceled, the better. Because the first time you think, "Oh, this is horrible. I'll never get through this." You panic. You think you got to shut down accounts and stuff. You think you got to
Yeah.
delete things. It's
Panic,
like
yeah.
no. It's like
Yeah.
no. The more you get canceled, the more easy it is, and you're like,
Right.
This'll it'll
Right.
pass."
Yeah. And also it's also worth noting, I think, yeah, part of it was it never happened to me. I wasn't expecting it. A lot of these people I considered my friend, a lot of these people I helped build their channels, right? But the other layer to it is like this is what cults do, is like they sort of pretend to be your friends, your family, and then they sort of intimidate you. So now it's like, "Oh, well, I don't want to be isolated. I want to be a part of this family." So most people would just go along with whatever the narrative is because they don't want to be alone.
Right. This sounds so similar to what happens when people want to detransition and they make that known. They get
Yep.
kicked out of the group.
Yep.
They get completely ostracized. They lose their mentors. They're even more lost.
Yep, 100%.
So here is this is a 33-part thread from Black Girl Gamers. Do you know if this was a direct response to you or you're just included?
Oh no, this was all me. This whole thing,
Holy
this whole
cow.
dissertation is about me.
We're here to provide you with a thread of Gothix TV's engagement with Black Girl Gamers from 2017 to the present day. Oh, so they're like, we're going to give you all the receipts on this
Mhm.
girl. She does not represent us. Don't disregard everything she says.
Yeah.
Fortunately, both communities documented our engagements with
Yeah.
Goth. She was never recruited. She voluntarily left the community in 2019. Oh my god, like they're trying to out your name. I'm very open about my
I'm
name.
open
This is
about it.
not like I'm not trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that stands out in this 33-part thread that you think they're lying
Oh,
about or are
aside the fact that
exaggerating?
they contradicted themselves multiple times, yes, absolutely. Like well, I mean, the tweet right below, first of all, those are the community rules. And
Oh.
again, I was in a different headspace where I believed a lot of their slogans because most people that believe all of these leftist ideas, and I'm sure the right is guilty of this too, but most people live off of slogans and they don't ask questions. So these community rules, don't be anti-black, don't be uh
Hmm.
don't be what problematic. What do these words actually
Wow.
mean? What's your standard of anti-blackness? And they're vague for a reason because the second you say something that they don't like, they can say, "Oh, that's anti-blackness."
What do you think their idea of anti-black means?
Whatever isn't politically black, which is usually not believing that blacks are victims, not believing that, or more specifically, refusing to look at everything through race, because I don't. I just see human beings. And once you put yourself in the category of black person, white person, you've already gone too far because now you're implying that there's a certain worldview that I should have based on what I look like, which is part of the problem.
Wow. And like, why do you think, was there a moment in your life where, because you said you initially were kind of attracted to this, you thought, oh, this community might give me a leg up in life. Was there something that happened, or, um, someone in your life that kind of helped you divert away from going on this path?
I mean, really, I think it was just their community. Their community red pilled me.
They turned you off
They
them.
turned me off. They did it themselves, man. Um, yeah, and then I mean, aside from the very vague rules here, they had like screenshots of a DM that I sent them, and they claimed that I blocked them. They friggin' omitted half of the message that I sent them because it makes them look bad. Like
Oh,
that should
no.
tell you all you need to know about these people. They're liars.
While she was in the community, Black Girl Gamer supported and uplifted Gothix, and she reciprocated the support. However, she was never a freelancer, contractor, or employee. How did they uplift you and support you? Like, it seems to
Right
me like
there.
you just did good work,
I
and
just, yeah, I did. And they kept reiterating that I was an employee. I'm like, I never said that. I don't know why you people are saying
wow.
this.
Oy. Well, it's like you're making an impact. They wouldn't have given you the time of day or made a whole thread about you if they weren't a little bit like, oh shit, people are paying attention to her. When Gothix also experienced racism from the gaming community, our private community was a safe space for her and supported her. This further clarifies why our private community exists, so that when our members experience this behavior, they have a safe space to retreat.
And I'm very open about the fact that I used to align with them. I used to be fragile to words.
Mhm.
And I'm no longer fragile to words, which is why I don't need a safe space, and they do.
Yeah, and the safe space is not going to stop. Like, there will always be assholes in the world. So, like,
Right.
what is the safe space really doing? In response to Gothix's question about tips and safety, an admin suggested streaming under our FKA Twitch community. Okay, so just a lot of old screenshots from you to just try to discredit you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is the first time I've even heard of Black Girl Gamers was through all this stuff. I don't know. How did it feel seeing this long thread about you?
I don't like when I saw it, I was like, I got this sense that they were panicking. Like because 33 parts of in two threads. There was two threads. To me, that's someone that's panicking, and the fact that you were documenting me for the last couple of years makes it seem like you're trying to cover your ass for something to build a story for when you need it. Because literally all I needed was someone to help me from this community. Like, tell your members to not harass me. As they're telling, if you go in this thread, there's a screenshot of them making an announcement in their Discord around the time that the George Floyd protests were happening, and they were telling people to stop interacting with me
Wow.
if they feel triggered. That's literally all I wanted them to do, was to tell their community members to stop going after me, and they wouldn't do it.
Jeez. What happened to the safe space?
What happened to the safe space?
Oh, here we go. On
Right
May 20th,
there.
2020, during a dispute between Gothix and Twitter users over her remarks concerning George Floyd, we advised our community not to engage with Gothix and to block, unfollow, or mute her posts if they were triggering. Since 2020, Black Girl Gaming has not heard from Gothix until this week, when she went on a publicity run promoting her documentary while continuing to omit the fact that she left both communities voluntarily to create a perception that is beneficial to her personal gain. But isn't this whole Black Girl Gamers founded on the idea of personal gain? But you need the community to have personal gain. So they don't like that you're getting personal gain without the community, without their help.
Right. Well, I think like I said, I think it's more so it shows you how worthless their product is, because they're
Yeah.
monetizing victimhood is really what
Right.
they're doing. They're not producing anything tangible. It's just victimhood. And I am a living proof of someone who left their product and did something on my own without needing a safe space or trigger words or whatever. And also, I just want to say this too. It wasn't just these people sending me mean tweets. Like, these people were making my life hell. I would literally be streaming. And if you know anything about streaming, you have a live chat. And people would come into my chat to harass me and try to convince my other viewers to leave and unsubscribe. They literally would reach out to my sponsors and try to get me dropped from my sponsorships. So they wanted to destroy my community. It wasn't just like a matter of, oh, I can block them. It's like, I'm going to go out of my way to make this girl's life a living hell.
They want you ruined. Yeah.
Right.
God, that happens to me too. It's like, it's not enough to just block, walk away, go on with your life. It's like, no, I want you to have no advertisers, no sponsors. I want the people who are currently following you and enjoying you to not follow you, to not enjoy you.
Right.
It's like, you don't deserve to have your own fans or accomplishments outside of the group.
Yeah.
God, you don't seem bothered at all by Black Girl Gaming wanting nothing to do with you.
No. Not at all. Not phased. I don't know, man. I feel bad. I kind of feel bad. I'm not gonna lie.
During your time with them, did you form any kind of like close friendships, or did you feel like those people kind of separately cut off from you, or was it just the whole community all at once?
Oh yeah, it was. You know what? And this is why, again, I reiterate that this community operates like a cult. They're not gonna say that it's a cult, obviously, because cult people don't know that they're in a cult. But I had a lot of friends who were Black in this community, and some of them stuck around until the next thing happened, and then they left. So some people stuck around during the Ariel thing, and they were like, "Oh, we're sorry that this is happening to you. That sucks." They misunderstood. And then when I voted for Trump, they were like, "Nope, forget it, not doing it." So everyone had their own limits, I guess, where they tried to hang on and try to be my friend for as long as they could, and then they stopped being friends with me. And a lot of them, honestly, were people who were like, "I'm never gonna leave you. I love you. I'm never gonna." So when people tell me this now, and they say, "I love you, Gothix. I love your content. You're so great. I'm never gonna leave." In the back of my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, because you
just wait,
just wait." And so it has been a process of me learning not to get attached to people, especially people that you make friends with online. Like, I love the people that I've made friends with, but I'm not gonna get attached, because now I've learned, and I had for a while built my entire life. Like, I got all of my meaning and purpose from streaming, and all of my friends and colleagues that I was finding. I was like, this is my life now. And then when they all turned on me, I'm like, what do I do now? So I learned my lesson.
Well, I'll never turn my back on you, Gothix.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you're just like, you can't. Yeah, you kind of do have to keep your guard up.
It is what it
is.
is.
Live through it.
But I enjoy the time that I have with people. I'd like to think that stuff wouldn't happen again, but it is what it is. Like, it's just life. It's just people come and go.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. All right, love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow, you guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.